Hello, APCSA programmers. Okay, we're going to start our unit on loops. You have seen loops already on the summer assignment, but we're going to see them in a little different context. So we're going to start with a programming problem, and we're actually going to look at a solution for it not using a loop first. So here we're just asking a user to enter a number, and then we take that number, we multiply it by 1, give the result. Multiply it by 2, give the result. 3, all the way up to 20. So in building this program, we want to look at, we know the 6 is coming from the user, so I need to do some user input. The 1 through 20 is pretty well set, but these values are also going to depend on the output's going to is going to depend on what the user inputs. So if they input a 7, we're going to have 7, 14, 21. So we're going to need these to be variable as well. So looking at a program, I know I want to read in user input, so I know I'm going to need to import the scanner object. So keeping in mind that a VIPO for putting together a program, we want to think about variables, input, process, output. So I know for my input, and so I'm going to make a variable section, an input section, a process section, and an output section. So the variables for this, I'm definitely going to need a scanner object. So I'm going to call this one in just because it's easier. I don't know if that space matters or not. Let's find out. All right, so this makes my scanner object, and I'm going to use that to get my input. So for input, in this case, for this example, the input is user input, right? I don't really have any other input to this. Nothing else is going to change it. So, okay, so for input, I want to prompt the user to enter a number. And you can always type this in with me. Sometimes typing along and helps the learning process. And then I need to read in the number. So, okay, I need to make a variable to read in. Let me call it num. And now I'm going to read in num. And that's my scanner object dot next, and we'll just make this int for easy. Okay, so at this point it should be able to read in the number. Now process and output, if I look at this, the process is maybe to multiply, and then the output is to output all this. I can kind of combine those if I want, and I think I'm going to do that just for simplicity. So I may even say process and output in here. But using that variable input, process, and output, using that ordering might help you write your programs if you're having a little hard time knowing where to get started. So, okay, I've asked for a number, I've read in a number, and now I want to just print that first line. So it would be system.out.print. And I think I could use a print line. So I want to print num, and then times 1 is, and the answer is going to be num times 1. Now I know num times 1 is num, so I don't necessarily have to put this, but that will, if I get this one right, I can copy it and do from 1 to 20. So that compiled cleanly. If I enter a 6, I get 6 times 1 is 6. If I enter a 7, I get 7 times 1 is 7, and that's a good start for this kind of output, right? So what I could do is I could copy this line down 20 times, and then I'd have to change the 1s to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 20. Well, first, what I don't like is I don't love this syntax. So I'm going to go to the printf just to play around with that. So I do want num to go at the beginning. So instead I'm going to put that %d here because num is an integer. And so now, after this, I want to put the num there. So right now, it would say whatever the number is. So they entered 7, it would be 7 times 1 is, and I want to give the result here, which is also an integer, and then I can say here that it's num times 1. So that's going to give me just a different way to look at it. Now again, if I'm going to need to have a backslash n, because this is not going to advance the line for me. So let's just do 1 and 2 and see if this is doing what I want. All right, so if I do 7 times 1, so far it's looking pretty good. 6 looks good. Let's just try one more. Okay, so I kind of like this. Now the one thing I don't like is that I'm going to have to keep changing that, but for now, I am just going to copy this now 20 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I'll do 10 first. And I'm going to have to change that to a 3, 5. We can see this is already getting a little tedious. I got to change all these so that I get the right things. Okay. And then I can copy that 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh my goodness, this is a lot. So maybe you had someone, they wanted you to print out a times table or something. Oops, messed that up. Okay, 19, 20, and now I got to change all these, right? So that's so tedious, I'm sure you would agree. I debated not showing you this process, but I did want you to see the build process. All right, let's see if this one works. All right, so if I enter a 6, oh, look at that. I'm getting all my multiplications there. So if I just run it again and enter a 7, now I get 7 times 20. All right, well, that's looking pretty good. So this is not a bad solution, but it was tedious, right? Cumbersome. And so what I want you to consider is when we go into loops, start thinking about the long way to do it. And sometimes that'll help you build the loop. So just to get some reminders about loops. Loops allow us to repeat statements over and over and over and over again, and it saves a ton of space in our program. So we can already see, you know, what if I asked you to go up to 100 for this? Like, who wants to copy that 100 times? That is so tedious. I can do it in 4 lines, so that's better. And I could change this to 1,000 and it would still only take me 4 or 5 lines. So the while loop syntax is the one we're going to start with. So there's a couple different types of loops, but we're going to start with the while loop. So the while loop syntax says, while this condition is true, do this stuff in here. The same rules apply. If the stuff I want to do in the loop, if it's only one thing, I don't have to have the curly braces. But if I want to do more than one thing repeatedly, then I need the curly braces. So, and I will do stuff as long as this condition is true. So I better have something in here in this loop that's getting me closer to this condition being false. Otherwise, I will never stop my loop. So here is an example. It's a little wonky. And this is actually for this. And so what we notice here, and what I want to point out, is when you're writing a loop, is you want to be thinking about what is repeating, what is changing on each repetition, where you want to start and where you want to stop. Okay, so this loop is going to keep doing something. Where do I want to start it? Where do I want to stop it? What's changing, so I can think about variables, and what's repeating? What can I leave the same, sort of as a literal? So let's start with, where do I want to start? So this loop, or this process and output, starts at 1 and it ends at 20. Wouldn't you agree? So what you might do is make a variable count equals 1, and I'm going to use count to control my loop, and I'm going to say while count is less than or equal to 20, I'm going to do some stuff in here. And we're going to figure out what the stuff is based on this. But I know I want to stop at 20. I want to start at 1. And so somewhere in here, I need to be changing count. So I'm getting closer to 20. So maybe at the end, I'll say count plus plus. So the first time count's 1. I'll go in, I'll do stuff. Then it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can use that here, right? All right, so this will get me a loop that goes 20 times. So what else do I need to know? I know where I start. I know where I stop. What is changing? What is repeating? So if I look at this example, I can copy this print, copy one of these up here, and then think about what's changing from time to time. So if I were to take all this out now, and it's nice to look at it maybe as a reference. Oops, I uncommented it. It's not going to cooperate now. Let me do that one more time. Quickly. Oh, come on. There it was. Okay. Okay, so I copied this up there. This is the same thing that's going to execute every time. So let's just see what happens if I leave it right now. So if I enter a 6, see, so what's the problem here? I'm getting 6 times 1 is 6. So I'm multiplying by 1 every time. So I really need this 1 to change from a 1 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4. So rather than multiplying by 1 here, I need to multiply by 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Well, it turns out that's what count is already doing for me here. So the first time I come in the loop, it will be 1. The second time, 2, 3, 4. So let me compile that and run that. Sure enough, now I've got this looking good, but this 1 that I hard-coded is no longer going to work. That needs to change as well. So I'm going to make that into a variable, and I'm going to do that. So remember, this is num, so num times count is num times count. That's how these get filled in, right? Blank times blank is blank, and we fill in the blanks with these variables. So I'm going to get rid of these spaces just to show you how tight, and if I do 6, and voila, we've made a nice loop. Let's run it again with 7, looking good. Look at that. 6, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of code. And what's nice is I can decide to go up to 1,000 and not have to copy this 1,000 times, right? Look at that. Oh, sorry, that was 100, not 1,000. Look at that. Let's go up to 10,000. Why not? Look at that. Look at it go. Much easier than copying and pasting this. So a lot of power comes into play with loops. We can repeat a lot of stuff. So again, when you're making a loop, when you're building it, first start with what would be the long way to do it. Sometimes that helps you get your thoughts together. And then where do you want to start the loop? When do you want to stop? What is it that I really want to repeat, right? So one a rookie programmer mistake is to put more things in the loop body than you actually want to repeat. What is changing on each repetition? So looking for those variables that can change. The order of the the order of events here is that I ask this question. If it's true, I do this stuff. And then I come up and I ask this question again. If it's true, I do this stuff. Come up again. If it's true, I do this stuff. Come up again. If it's false, I go past the curly brace to whatever comes after and continue on into the program. So I